Please put your hands together for Mr. Bachchan, and how rarely does an artist get to play himself on screen. Amitabh.
I'm least deserving of it, but I'm thankful for Rohit to have invited me here at the release of his book. Rohit couldn't have chosen a better title for this book because it just goes with my feelings. I hate the word Bollywood. And but having glanced through some pages of the book on my way here, I would like to ask him whether the main protagonist in the film is indeed him or not. Many of the occasions that he has mentioned as incidents in the life of this character are indeed quite similar to some of the experiences that journalists have with film stars. And I wish him all the best. He's been a very humble and an extremely kind gentleman. Most of his episodes with me have been most generous. Sometimes it's difficult for journalists to do that, but I must thank him for this. I wish this book all success, and I hope that he continues to write in the future as well. He's just spreading his wings in all directions. One wishes him all the best for all the work that he's done so far, particularly in the field of journalism, not just in writing, in his interviews and now on television, and then now a writer of this wonderful book. I wish you all success, Rohit, and may you continue to write and may you continue to prosper. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for having me here today.
May I please invite on stage Mr. G, Ajay Mago, and let's finally release the book of, like Mr. Bachchan said, the protagonist who started with hate but had a huge love story eventually. I think anyone and everyone who belongs to media should have a copy. Yeah. And of course, his great friend who is responsible for pushing him here, Rajiv Masan Sahab, please stage par aaye. I haven't spotted you yet.
Yeah, I will come.
Big, quite important, and sufficient to describe our industry. I don't think we need to borrow any
Challenges and health scares. We are the most insensitive people on earth. So we are, no doubt about that. So sorry I'm bringing this up, but yeah, when celebrities are at the hospital, small example, if Sir is in the hospital and we see Abhishek going inside, wonder why he didn't speak to us. We don't realize that it's his father inside. We just feel, oh, he didn't speak to us. A lot of media members, we do feel, but yeah, we are very insensitive. We should change that. We should bond at better places and not outside hospitals.
I just feel that it's a very sensitive moment when someone is ill. Whereas I shall respect the right of the journalist in the freedom of expression that he has, and I respect that. But sometimes the sensitivity of the moment and the emotions that run with the people that are involved needs to be understood. There have been many occasions, unfortunately, when I've had to be in hospital. And what happens at times is that it has taken almost 20 minutes for me to come out of the ambulance and be taken to the ICU purely because the gates of the ambulance could not open because the photographers and the journalists were actually blocking it. And if there are emotions expressed by members of the family at that point of time, that needs to be understood a bit. But I had another surprising incident when I was on another occasion in the hospital. When I was in the ICU, after a couple of days, Jaya, who had also taken a room in the hospital for the family to live in, suddenly walked down one morning and said, why are you giving interviews from the ICU? So I said, no, I'm not doing any interviews. He said, no, but you know, the whole media is writing what you're wearing, what you're doing, what you were saying. I said, I haven't done anything of the sort. It was actually a very enterprising journalist who dressed up as a doctor, put a stethoscope around their neck, walked into the ICU, came and said hello to me, and I responded, said hello, and she said, how are you feeling? I said, I'm fine. I said, are you a doctor? She said, yes. And that's it. And she went and reported outside. Sometimes it's a little intrusive, but also doesn't speak very well for the security of the hospital. But yeah, I would look upon it as you know, lightheartedness. The management of the media company that sent her in was actually quite proud of her. Said, you know, I really appreciate the fact that you had the guts to go in there. But you know, these are some of the things that happen. But most of the times, I think the media has been very sensitive towards such occasions.
Mr. Bachchan, this is a book about the life and times of a film journalist. It talks about the various experiences of meeting with actors and covering the beat of journalism. Do you remember, you've been an actor for so many years now, do you remember, is it fair to ask you to jog your memory and ask you if you remember the first interview that you gave? Do you have any memory of that? To whom, when?
Yes, I do. I did a few interviews before actually joining films, but that's best forgotten. When I came into the movies, I think the first interview I did was with Devi from Star and Style.
Devyani Chaubal.
Devyani Chaubal, yes.
Rohit, Hindi film stars have their own standard time. I'm a little embarrassed to say this in front of you. All done interviews with Shah Rukh well in the night. We've woken up at the crack of dawn to do an interview with Akshay Kumar. What's your record been?
2 days for Shah Rukh. Yeah. So, yeah, 2 days. 1 full day I waited, didn't get an interview. Next day I was called, got it late in the evening. So yeah, 2 days. But yeah, I have to say, you know, I've attended hundreds of events, like in the past 15 years. I don't think you've been late, but I do remember just one incident, but I saw you running inside when Mr. Prakash Mehra was being honored. That was at Palm Grove Hotel in Juhu. You were just about 3 minutes late maybe, but I saw you coming running inside and he told you, Lala, aaj tu late ho gaya.
Is it hard to be on time permanently, Mr. Bachchan? You have to give us some tips.
Yeah, you'll have to control the Bombay traffic for that. You know, I left at about 7:30 from Marriott, where I was doing interviews, ironically, with the media for the promotion of my film. But we somehow make it. I think you just have to respect the invitation and the intention with which it has invited other people rather than yourself. And I'm sure that people that come on time will appreciate the fact that it's not correct and ethical to keep you waiting when the main chief guest is going to be late. So these are some of the things that you grow up with, I think. The kind of upbringing you have with your parents, the kind of school you attended, and the punishment that you received if you weren't on time for a particular event. I think that keeps growing inside you. It's nothing special, but I just like to maintain that.
And finally, because I know that there are other questions from the room, Mr. Bachchan, yesterday, in case people don't know, yesterday was actually 40 years since the release of Diwar, which is really one of your most brilliant films and one that most of us here, I would take the liberty to say all of us here, have thoroughly enjoyed and watched over and over again. You've said, in fact, that it is the most complete script. Looking back, you think of it as the most complete script. What are your memories of making that film?
So gosh, it's a long story. I don't think that we have sufficient time this evening for me to narrate all that. But yes, I do believe that it was one of the most perfect scripts, for me at least, the most perfect script that was written. It really is difficult to find fault in the scripting. Salim Saab and Javed Saab were absolutely brilliant in that. It almost, well, I won't say that it wasn't in a situation where it wouldn't be made, but it could have been delayed I was already working with Yash ji on a film, Yash Chopra.